5 seconds remaining.
Bat Rider!
Shine back from what you have. We're gonna try and run something together, and I'm looking at the Night Stalker too and trying to figure out how this is going to work, because it's a hero that sometimes does run into problems just getting his towers ran down all across the map. And do you feel like OG's lineup might come online a little bit late for this, or do you think that it's going to be okay?
No, I think their timing is going to be fine. It's just a question of whether or not they can keep that timing window that they have and keep hitting with little to no mistakes. Clockwork and Night Stalker, super aggressive heroes. They love to be able to find these pickoffs. The problem is that IG are going to be playing pretty 4-man heavy and trying to be either aggressive or playing around the Tinker, one or the other. So I'm not entirely sure if Clockwork is going to be able to find his openings. That's the problem, is like Clockwork is an offlane hero. It's super hard for him to be able to find windows into the game because of the fact that like there's teams so grouped up, you don't get these traditional solo pickoffs very easily. And this is why Tinker is one of the few meta heroes that Clockwork is actually, he becomes a viable pickup because that hero is solo so often.
Well, you can see right here as well, Burning coming to contest the farm a little bit at least. S4 does look like he might have another cogs up. He's going to be able to push him twice, so very low on mana to start this one off.
Yeah, it does mean that this whole entire play, he's protecting the Bound Rune. That's fantastic. It does mean his creep equilibrium is not going to be as ideal. He could have done like the Bulba trick and done like a double cog situation, but S4 is playing selfless here, trying to protect the Alchemist Bounty Rune as best he can.
And gets a couple of the creeps blocked off there for his...
Be spending a lot of time in that mid lane as soon as he zones out the Bat Rider. You know, you want to keep that Bat Rider down, secure your safe lane first, and then go ahead and roam on OP all day, every day.
Well, OP in the meantime is going to take advantage of not having that Night Stalker in the lane, at least at the very start of this, as throws out a couple of lasers onto Ana, and this is going to be a little bit of a contentious one. And in the top lane, you can see just a lot of potential for aggression up here as they've brought Bobica in as well.
Clockwork versus CM Lifestealer should be pretty good for Clockwork. He's got great zoning. He's got great ways to protect himself against the Lifestealer CM. Burning away Burning's mana pretty early and making sure he doesn't have rage and open wounds is a great preemptive way to do so. And if CM does frostbite you, just try and get that cogs off before the Lifestealer closes the distance.
And you can see Salve used as well by the Alchemist here. He's not off to a terrible start, but the real story, at least for me, is how much the Venge has gained relative to the Lifestealer. Lifestealer 8-1, and No-Tail has been at least a little bit hampered in this, not feeling completely confident because of XSS, keeping that pressure on with the Bat Rider. And, you know, Visage, a very strong laning hero in a lot of ways, but needs to be able to get up at least a couple of levels to have Soul's Assumption and Grave Chill.
Yeah, I really love what IG is doing here because they knew the pressure was going to come the way of the Bat Rider for the first 4 minutes. So they're protecting that farm with Bobica. He's just kind of like standing there. He's got this Nyx Assassin with a poor man's shield. Really tough to be able to eat through because his high armor and high health regen. So the harassment of these heroes.
Oh, and first blood drawn by Burning in the bottom lane, just getting a bit too far forward, and I guess Clockwork not having the capability to cast out the cogs in that instance. Maybe it was on cooldown?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was because he only got caught by one real big spell, right? Oh, did he get the haste rune off that?
No. Q is going to take it and apply a little bit of harassment. No mana right now for the Crystal Maiden to make anything happen, but can still at least deny away that rune from the Clockwork.
Yeah, that feels pretty bad. S4 missed a little bit of CS action during that time, failed to get the rune.
You can see still up here in this top lane, there's constant threat of getting gone on. And, you know, normally Nyx Assassin stun is something that you could dodge away with the Visage or a Vengeful Spirit. It's very heavily telegraphed, but when you have all of these stacks of sticky Napalm on you, it's a little bit more difficult to make that work.
And this is the problem with the Visage as well. Like we said, OG has never really been tested as a team, I would say. Like they just kind of rolled through everybody so far in this tournament. And their Visage has gone highly uncontested. Nobody's ran like a really strong aggro duo or aggro tri-lane against this Visage and managed to pressure like they should. Here, we're seeing it.
Yeah, big stun now on to XSS. They're trying to bring him down, but No-Tail is really the one that's in trouble. Void slowing him down, but it's not enough to be able to create that kill. They are still going to get the kill onto the Bat Rider, but now Bobica maybe in a little bit of trouble as well. Soul Assumption is starting to stack up, and Looks like they aren't going to be able to go for that one, but still, a lot of pressure.
Well, he didn't really have the mana. And Nyx Assassin is honestly too tanky. That's a great trade for IG because they want to be able to shut down this Vengeful Spirit. It's not a core that comes back into the game very easily. And then on top of that, Nyx Assassin is a perfectly acceptable 4 position to take over that off lane whenever the Batrider dies. So, great trade for IG. They're really exposing the weakness of this Visage pickup. We, theorycrafted and talked about it quite a bit, and we're finally seeing it in action here.
And you can see the CS across the board into the favor of the side of IG, and OP really the one that's leading that with 10 denies, almost the amount that Alchemist has CS at this point. And that is not where you want to be. S4 gone on again by Burning. The right click's coming through, but without any other great control. They are rotating in the CM, and with the phase boots, they might be able to pull it in, but a good cog, salve up, S4 playing it safe.
S4 holding to the right-hand side, trying to get the most of his healing salve because he knows like the CM could pop up. Not sure if he realizes. Oh no, they do have a ward.
Well, in the meantime, XSS goes down in the top lane. And S4 gone upon again. They do have a way to control him. Frostbite used, slowed up, rooted. Battery is still trying to create that separation. It does manage to get the cogs off. S4 away by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, pretty good read because they did have that ward on the bottom runes. So that invis was probably scouted by the clock. And he still positioned himself decently far out there. Batrider dying, pretty unfortunate there. I'm not sure exactly what went down, but it is keeping Jerix's Night Stalker up at top. That's fantastic for OP. That's all they really want to do is just create space for this Tinker to continue to shut down Alchemist's farm and get his boots of travel.
Now a movement from the mid. This could be heading top. It is nighttime, so you got to be at least slightly cognizant of this Night Stalker. Went for the 1-1-1 build as far as skills are concerned, so he does at least have that extra movement speed to get him into position. But if they start stacking up these sticky napalms, there could be some potential for a kill onto No Tail. Boca walks forward. There's the Grave Chill turning onto XSS. Nova at least to start it out. Fly is quite dangerous in this laning stage. Soul Assumption's going to be back up again, but not quite enough mana. It looks like they are going to try and turn this. Jerix is going to have to back out. It does look like everybody's just going to walk away from that one. Everyone's
so tanky. I'm a little bit surprised IG tried to make this support rotation up to top lane. Simply because if you look at a Visage, he's got Cloak. You have the Night Stalker, naturally tanky as well. Vengeful Spirit as a core is decently tanky. We'll get a lot more as time goes on in that he gets a lot of strength per level. Which is important. So it's kind of tough for them just to be able to burst down one hero.
Ooh, and actually Fly is now going to possibly drop, taking a lot of damage, manages one Soul Assumption before it gets off, but No Tail under fire is going to end up dropping maybe Jerix. Can he be the difference maker? Bobica, Pop the Mango, does have another Impale, but they do not decide to go on to the rest of Invictus Gaming. And it's kind of interesting because Visage actually ended up going for a no cloak build to start. He got a second point up there into Soul Assumption, so less tanky than normal.
Yeah, that is very surprising considering the aggression that they're facing up against. I thought Fly would have tried to protect himself, but I guess he probably feels like the layers aren't really that effective against the Firefly. That's really what they have to play around. Be super aggressive when you know Firefly is down like they were earlier, and just try and sometimes bait out Firefly if possible against these aggro Batrider lanes. I think OG's done pretty well to manage that. It's just, again, the problem is they're drawing so much attention, and that's IG's win in a nutshell. Right? It's kind of like a coin toss. Whether or not they're actually going to be able to get some of these kills in these engagements all kind of starts on who initiates on who first. But ultimately, OP, he's free farming away. He will have his boots of travel coming in pretty quickly. Everything's kind of going well. Like, the first nighttime has just been dodged. Jerix did not have an impact on Tinker's farm.
And that's something that you obviously want to be able to at least build some amount of momentum early on. He didn't even venture into that lane in the least bit. A little bit of a different role than we've seen Jerix play in the past. And I think that it makes sense also that the other thing that's nice about Soul Assumption in the laning phase is that as you get more levels into it, the mana cost of it actually goes down. And all these heroes on OG running out of mana, you know, they all have mana issues. But No Tail continuing to farm. They are bringing more heroes to the top lane again. Nyx Assassin is there. Tinker just trying to finish off those boots of travel. And they will again force No Tail back.
Q is just running at him. There's no way they catch him, but And No Tail is not happy with his farm, that's for sure. 2100, Venge, again, I can't say it enough, Venge is not a hero that comes back well. So they've got to be able to win some team fights around this Vengeful Spirit for her to really be able to get back into the game. Fortunately, she is a core that can accomplish a lot more than most, around 10 to 15 minutes with just her basic skill set, just having the levels rather than needing some certain key items.
And the other thing to kind of keep in the back of our minds throughout this is that you do have this Alchemist who's going to get a lot, but I feel like a broken record when we say it so often that it ends up being the situation where your Alchemist is very farmed, the other heroes very much not so. And you look at Clockwork, actually the second lowest net worth at this point in time in the game, but this is kind of a hero that can still survive and make things happen with just levels, right?
Yeah, I think if I want to look at the win conditions for these two teams, I think OG is definitely more focused on the early game, kind of similar to what we saw from the last series of EG Newbie. The team with the Alchemist actually wanted to be able to end faster because IG have drafted themselves much better late game opportunities with the Tinker, and I would say Lifestealer's a fitting matchup against Alchemist. Late game, you have the big increase in armor from the Alchemist as he picks up some items, but he's still relatively effective. So I think it's actually just because they have this Venge core and Clockwork, most notably, is another core that drops off significantly. I think with those IG, they're going to control the late game. They're pretty happy with the early games going, so OG just have to hit really hard in the mid game.
Keep our eyes on that, of course, and see if they're able to make it happen. Right now, Alchemist continuing to farm towards that Radiance at a relatively decent clip as Fly places down a couple of deep wards. It's worth noting they've placed some really good vision here. Some in towards mid lane, a couple in the jungle, in some slightly strange spots. That one might have been scouted by the Radiant ward that was in the area as well. But Burning pressuring this tower. The Cogs actually pull Burning inside of it. How are they setting up for this kill? And there's just going to be a jump inside the catapult. They aren't going to be able to find it.
Roll on out. First rotation of No Tail, not really accomplishing much. They saw an opportunity, it was just underneath the creep wave, so really good play by Burning.
And OP is getting closer to those boots of travel. Man, this guy, he's been playing on a tear for his Tinker. Every game that we've seen him, I feel like he's always had just such a huge impact.
Obaka. I am surprised he has his level 6 already.
Oh, he's going to walk into a ward, though.
Yeah.
They might set up on this. Jarex is baiting it out. Oh, they're going to be able to find this kill in just a second, maybe? They're not bringing in the rest of the heroes. S4 is going to rotate up towards top. They throw the Void now, keeping their eyes on him. Drop another sentry. There's the hook shot in. And S4 able to find that kill.
I think they wanted to wait until the...
why? They're there. A lot of damage. OP is going to TP in. And they do find that kill. Burning picking it up.
See if they can get the familiar as well. Oh, looks like not quite enough.
One nice thing about this too is that the Fly was able to get a lot of experience in the mid lane while they left, but now the movement in, they've decided to go for it. Ana is diving deep for this one. He's not going to be able to hit the silence, and Burning going to find that kill. Now looking for more. Jarex is going to go down as well. Can they find any more? I don't know if they're quite going to get within range. As up top, Clockwork, he's also in some trouble. They tried to bring down Q, but it's not going to happen. Oh man, OG under fire early on in this one.
They are just not getting the connections. Now No Tail, I don't think Burning actually gets this, or maybe he can. It's gonna be just enough. Oh no!
Oh, went for the infest play, but wasn't quite enough damage.
Now he's a little bit overextended, maybe. No, OP covers them pretty well.
Oh, they're TPing into that one. That might have been a bit too bold by OG. You can feel, though, that they want to make something happen here.
Yeah, absolutely. They should, right? It's nighttime with a Night Stalker. It's your second night, which is normally the most effective night of all for Night Stalkers around, especially the support ones. So they have to make something happen here, but IG are covering themselves really well. They're choosing the right kind of engagements. What I love about IG and OP Tinker is it's not just OP and how he plays the Tinker, it's how his team plays around him. They like to group up a lot with the Tinker, a lot more, right? What OP does is he protects their tower pushes. It's kind of similar to a Terrorblade.
And now a jump forward. I mean, their tower pushes are going to be pushed, and you're going to see S4 also get caught. He does still have that hook shot if he wants to try and turn onto this, but as you said, they're there. They've got the March of the Machines going. There's a chance for rockets and lasers to come out as well after the fact, and this tier 1 tower is going to drop
Yeah, it's just spiraling out of control for OG. What happened was they had bad couple engagements, right? They...
Oh, Q. Okay, that's something.
That's a one-off. It's consolation prize for OG, essentially. The Ana choosing to push forward, right, with Jarex and trying to get that kill, them losing that, and then Clockwork also dying on top meant they weren't able to set up on a defense of a tower. And you can't afford that. Against a Tinker, you have to play really proactive. You have to play proactive in your vision. You have to play proactive in your movement, set traps for the Tinker. But also when it comes to IG's pushes, you have to set up before they do. You have to actually initiate before OP can lay down these March of the Machines. Otherwise, you're giving up your tower, essentially. The March kind of cancels the tower's advantage almost entirely. And, oh, what's bottom?
Bottom lane, they pick up the kill onto Jarex, one of these heroes that's normally very tanky and not going to go down, but they are going to get, oh, that was so sick by Bobica, the spike carapace, and then they get the stone into S4 and follow it up with the kill. All right, IG, they came to play today.
They
not happy about it.
Certainly did. They got a very comfort lineup for them. Support Nyx Assassin has not been what Bobica has been running primarily in this tournament, but it is a Chinese Nyx Assassin, and he's a great support player. He's making a lot of plays happen. They've got their OP Tinker. They've got a burning Lifestealer. OG essentially just said, all right, IG, we're going to kind of give you everything that you want. We're going to try and counter it with some unique pickups of ourselves.
And you look at this lineup, and there is still the chance. Like OG, the style of play that they can make with this type of gank is exactly what they need. They're going to move forward. XSS is there. They throw out the Flame Break, almost bringing him down, and they are going to be able to get one kill. The swap in from Q, breaking that freezing field and picking up another one.
Greedy by those two supports. They may both get caught because of this one. Jarex is going to try and hunt him down.
Phase boots. He's very swift right now, choosing to chase forward. Do they have the dust? They get within range. Void is there. Bobica going to drop. They also had a Purge Creep as well. And with the vision, with the magic missile, this should be another kill going their way. You do have OP that's in the area as well. We'll see if OG try and take that fight as well.
Big misplay there from Bobica and Q. At the moment the Batrider got jumped by that many heroes, they just needed to back up. It didn't matter, like, the high ground advantage. They thought, like, oh, this is going to be some sick play, you know, this freezing field placement and stuff, but they just needed to back away as soon as possible and try and limit the loss of heroes. Sometimes those kind of plays can cost you a lot of tempo. Fortunately, it doesn't here. OG were not in a position to be able to take a tower at all. All that really resulted is a little bit of gold back in their coffers, and also some time for Ana to be able to continue to farm up that jungle. He is sitting at 11k compared to the 8k of Burning. It's not quite the lead that an Alchemist wants to be able to have in a true Alchemist game, but it is kind of close. I would say about this point, you usually want to be around 4 to 5k ahead.
Oh my god, this is going to be a huge engagement. They do not realize right now that OG is smoked up on the high ground. They're going to try and go for a wraparound. They do scan it out now, so now they spot them. XSS goes there, jumps onto the bench. There's no save here, but they are still going to be able to bring down the Batrider after losing the Vengeful Spirit. Jarex is going to drop as well. Burning was on top of it. Now Fly turning, trying to kill off Burning. The 4-step play, it's going to save his life. And Q with the freezing field, zoning out the rest of OG. There is another stun that's being thrown.
Oh, Q is just trying to stay ahead of this unstable concoction, but it's not going to happen. Ana will clean up that extra kill, turning it into a 3-for-3 exchange. Definitely favorable to OG, I would say. Well, I'm actually not entirely sure. Looks like they did come out on top with both gold and experience a bit. I don't know, what's the network chart really looking at? Oh, never mind.
Let's see in just a second, but yeah, this great opening again onto the Venge. You know that that's the hero. You have to jump because the swap's there. And so Jarex going to fall as well. I guess the nice part about this is that Ana doesn't die. He's able to get some more gold. And even when this fight started, he was starting to build that substantial lead against the Lifestealer.
Yeah, this is where IG... like, they can play a 4-man aggressive style sometimes, but the Alchemist is now in fighting status, so they have to be careful. They have to be real picky about the battles that they take. You want to prolong this game if you're IG. I don't think you want to fight too heavily into Venge, Clockwork, Night Stalker at 18 minutes. This next nighttime is going to be the big window for OG to start taking objectives. IG... How well do they defend their mid tower? I'm not entirely sure. It could be just one of those they just give up and avoid fighting entirely.
Oh, they're bringing in the Nyx. This might be somewhat okay if they can pull back and kill off Ana. But because they're starting to bring them low. The swap out is going to find the kill. Bernie picks it up. Wicked sick streak. OP, though, is starting to go off as well. Opportunity, but now burning. He is over here on the low ground. Ana's going to run into him. This is going to be a stun, a chance to possibly open up onto IG. Grave Chill as well. Burning. It's going to be swapped back in. They have the hook shot. A little bit off the mark. Does still find the stun, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Burning is going to fall. And now I think IG, they're willing to at least push back OG.
Yeah, so that's okay. Like their Lifestealer got caught. Huge kill for OG. But the important thing is, you don't overcommit to that team fight. It was going to be a bad one. So Batrider and CM kind of staying back. Batrider in particular, right? He could have played that a lot more aggressively, and he probably just would have been an added kill for OG. Now OG with that pickoff on Burning should be able to take this mid tower. They chipped it down to practically nothing earlier, so that is going to be a freebie. Roshan is a possibility for the future, though their damage is a big lackluster right now. They got to get better control of their side lanes as well. No Tail's trying to deal with a bottom lane push out. I do like the Helmet Dominator, though. That'll help him have some side lane presence when he's not actually there with his hero.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm noticing here and thinking about the way these next couple of team fights work out, you do still have this Nyx Assassin that's a great answer to the Alchemist. You pop the Spike Carapace, you get the initiation off, you can follow it up with an Infest Bomb possibly with the Batrider. Increases your attack range significantly as we do see the Radiance Alchemist moving through, but XSS on the Batrider is going towards the jungle. They want to pick up some kills here. S4 and Fly are the targets. Will they catch them here? Smoke breaks. Oh, they're guessing the wrong way. They dropped out a ward. Fly, he is going to be caught. And that's probably not as big of a kill as they would have hoped for.
Yeah, it would have been nice to be able to pick up one, of course, but I think it's still fitting enough. You forced the Clockwork to TP backwards. You've got free reign on hitting that tier 2 for a few seconds at the bare minimum, and it looks like OG are not actually rotating defended at all. So maybe you take this tier 2, and OG in return will take your tier 1 safe lane. Still favorable for IG.
Talked earlier about that Helm of the Dominator as well in the Vengeful Spirit. We saw the creep that he was using earlier, the Purge one, to try and get a setup onto somebody. Now you have sort of a similar thing with the net from the Dark Troll Summoner to allow them to find that extra bit of catch. He's a pretty quick little creep.
Remember how fast Newbie closed out that game 3, right? They had a rough laning phase 2, and they had this, Vengeful Spirit, and they were able to just completely destroy objectives very quickly. IG do need to keep that in mind, right? These one-off pickoffs, they're like, it hurts, but it's not the end of the world, right? You can easily recover. It's going to be the one big-time team fight that gets OG truly in control of this game.
So we do see, again, IG just trying to get themselves set up. Probably Roshan in their, at least mind's eye. Is there sort of the key pick? Oh, OP actually going to be caught. The magic missile is going to connect. They find the hook shot as well, and that is a very value pickup. CM is there as well, but they do not want to try and take that fight in the least bit. This might actually open up the value for Roche.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got Alchemist and Venge in the same place at the same time. You got a successful kill on Tinker, who's probably one of the harder heroes to play Roshan around. So Aegis time for them, building into a lot of auras just like we saw last time. So Solar Crest for Fly. We're going to have the early Vlad pick up. What does our Clockwork have? Is it probably just like Force Staff or something? Yeah, Force Staff is his item. What about Jarek? Jarek has had some, not really much progression actually. He's going to work on a Force Staff as well. Trying to deal with Burning's Lifestealer as best as possible.
So to me, this feels like it could be one of those turning points that you were talking about there and how quickly things can swap around. That OG, they pick up the Aegis, they have a lot of farm still on this central Alchemist, and while IG do have ways to deal with him, laser to stop the right clicks, ostensibly a Batrider to control him, so many times we've seen these Alchemists become an indomitable force that just takes over the game. Do you see that happening in this one?
It could be, but it's going to be, I don't think that one pick-off is going to be the turning point. I think they still need a couple more, and how well they use this Aegis is yet to be seen. If I was in IG's place, I would be telling myself they were going to get Aegis eventually, right? Like, they hit they're going to have a really good timing at this point. Bobica, okay, that was their own counterward. Yeah. So a setup here. He's got Tinker rotating across.
No Tail might be sensing that something is up, though, and that hurts when Bobica is sitting around there for so long and not able to go onto the Vengeful Spirit. I believe he did spot out, though, that the bounty rune is taken, so should realize somebody's in the area.
I think No Tail's pretty comfortable with his HP right now. Nyx Assassin can't even come close to bursting him down, and I'm not even sure if with laser and rockets if it would be enough. It might have to be like a second round of rockets in order to get that kill. So he's being like a little bit more solo than you would probably expect.
Hookshot in, they catch there onto Bobica. Spike Carapace has been popped, and there's going to be Magic Missile, a couple right clicks. They have the dust as well to finish him off. Swap in. The Familiars might even be the ones that pick this up, but with
Buy
the
some
stun
time,
available,
baby. Buy some time. That's all you can do.
Yeah, Bobica's going to drop, though, and that ward being the one that set it all up.
Oh, look at OP. Oh, Jarex. Even so, like, if he gets that, he'd need mass rotations to the Shrine, and I'm not sure if he would get it.
Oh, he's actually going for this on to Bobica. The rest of his team is keeping in on the Shrine, but do they realize the rest of the heroes in the area? Burning and Lifestealer is already on top of him. Ana in some trouble. Q with the freezing field is destroying No Tail off to the side, but they do manage to get to the Shrine. That might be enough to save the day. Fly trying to bring him low. Ana is just not going to die. Burning decides that he doesn't want any more. There's 3 already dead for IG. Burning starting to get ran down, and if No Tail can quite find vision, there's the swap back in. XSS actually gets the jump and the Force Staff away. Flame break to create that separation.
Oh, nice Manta dodge, but ultimately he was like, he needed to get that unstable concoction range, and XXS played that beautifully. Quick reactions on the Blink Dagger, instant Force Staff as well. And that was one of those big team fights, I think. IG, I think they looked at that, they thought maybe to themselves, like, oh, they're just not going to be able to rotate fast enough, we're already set up. But the problem was, like, one of the big threatening heroes is Ana's Alchemist. They could have committed harder to kill that Alchemist, but he still had the Aegis, right? It just wasn't worth it to them. If they trade Tinker for Alchemist, and maybe there's a fight that breaks out from there, it's okay. But as it is, he's got that extra life. OG have used the Aegis quite well. Managed to get a good fight and a tier 2 off of it.
And you know what was this 4,000 net worth lead into the favor of IG, right around 6,000 or so experience, is now starting to swing into the favor of OG, and it does feel like this is what we always knew could happen, at least a little bit. How do you respond to this if you're IG now? What's the is there anything?
Patient.
Just being patient and
be patient. Keep telling yourself, keep reminding yourself, like, okay, we have good late game. We have really good pick-off potential. We have very strong high ground defense, right? Because you've got Bat Rider. I would say Nyx Assassin is a strong high ground defending hero, and Tinker obviously is huge. So just remind yourself, like, okay, things have gone bad in the mid game, but we also knew this is when OG was going to be quite strong. So everything's still kind of following the formula. Even if you maybe exceeded expectations in the laning phase and stuff like that, it still doesn't matter. Everything's kind of going according to the overall game plan of these two strategies matching up against each other. Don't freak out.
Well, there we go. As it does look like the Assault Cuirass has been finished for Ana. Clearly wanting to take down these objectives, giving that extra bit of physical damage out there. Also, we saw briefly the Nyx Assassin, after going for the Midas, is now going back for an Aghanim Scepter. So sort of continuing that narrative that we've been talking about of holding high ground defense. It's certainly a huge item for IG and their ability to hold that high ground, but it does feel like we're sort of almost waiting around for the next round.
Yeah, I would actually say that the high ground defense is so important that if OG can take a tier 3, not even necessarily taking the Raxus, but if they can take a tier 3 in the next Aegis timing, then I think they've got the game. Because at that point in time, you really limit the Tinker quite a bit, because you take away the shrines. This is what Tinker, like, this is why Tinker is quite good in this particular meta. Oh, that's, well, that's an okay pickoff. Like, it's just a gimme for IG. Doesn't mean too much to OG.
Yeah, I mean, anything at this point is pretty good for them, considering that Ana is still so hard to deal with. Obviously, Age is gone at this point. He's actually queuing up the first Aghanim Scepter. So we talked a lot about Jarek's not having a lot. Do you give this over to the Night Stalker in your opinion?
Yes, I believe so. This is a kind of in combination with the whole go high ground and take that tier 3, take the shrines, get aggressive vision down, play around with an Aghanim's Night Stalker gem, and what can the enemy team really do? Like, they have very limited options to be able to push outside of their base against Ag's Night Stalker.
And the other thing that we talked about and we've seen in a couple of these games is the Vengeful Spirit being able to be that high ground breaking hero in a lot of ways, swapping out. We saw the game even against a sniper it ended up working.
Yeah, you actually pointed this as maybe like a sleeper hero of the tournament, right? You said that like this could be one of the more important tournaments in this final area of the game, and I kind of agree with you. I think that this Vengeful Spirit has actually figured out like some sort of key to be able to break high ground against some of the tougher heroes. This level 3 swap is really high range. The timings of the Vengeful Spirit are quite strong. It just, like, we've been looking at this tournament, and I would say like 80% of the games have gone to the team with the better late game. Maybe the Vengeful Spirit is the way you crack that code.
Right. Maybe it's the answer to so much greed that we've been seeing here as Ana Solar Crest in hand. They get the vision, get the stun. That's on to 2, but they also stun out Ana. Do they realize the rest of OG is here? A really big clogs. There is going to be a counter impale, but I don't know if it's going to be enough damage. Ana's going to be pulled back in, but do you really want this Alchemist closer to you? Burning on top of him. Ana trying to continue the chase is not going to quite be able to hit the stun onto Burning, but still, you're assaulting high ground. 2 are dead from IG.
Yep, good situation for OG to be in. They know they've got 30 seconds to be able to work with for some buybacks maybe, or not. What are they backing up to? Maybe take the tier 2 top? Okay. I don't think Roshan's up yet, so playing it a little bit safe. I thought maybe they take advantage of this time where the initiation just isn't there from the Batrider, but they probably don't feel comfortable trying to test high ground against mass March of the Machines.
And I guess that in a lot of ways for OG, you still have so much more room to grow on a lot of these heroes. This first Aghanim Scepter is coming out. And no, I almost wonder if maybe they even give it over to the Venge.
No, I think Ag's Night Stalker is such a game changer. It's one of the biggest Aghanim's upgrades in the game. It makes the hero, right? Like, there's no way they pick Night Stalker without either, well, you can't put him as a 3 position, I don't think. So I think it's literally just with Alchemist, right? Put a support Night Stalker that has an Alchemist on the team. That's really the only way that hero is viable. So OG, they're beginning to hit those timings. They still have plenty of other Aghanim Scepters that are quite strong to give away.
Oh, XSS pulls back in 1. That's Fly. It's a decent kill, absolutely. But I'm sure that they were hoping for a little bit more as well.
I think Fly really likes this this Visage, 5 support sort of situation, because it's like, well, you kill me, but I'm still doing something, right? I still got my birds to be able to work around. I can farm, I can check out Roshan. He's scouting the pit right now. Looks like 1 minute until Rosh is up.
Wow, and another pickup here. Ana just gonna let him die in the acid spray. No respect.
Cool guys don't look at kills, Gabe.
That's something I need to learn, definitely. Yeah. I don't get to kill heroes in games. I just play Dazzle and Grave.
Oh, you're the saving hero. Wow. Unfortunately, you do have... maybe that's also a thing. Just Shallow Grave and walk away, Gabe.
That's the cool guys don't look at Shallow Graves. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Nyx Assassin, he's getting closer to his Aghanim Scepter, and that might be that other factor that allows them to get towards a defensive high ground. And while you do have OG hitting a really strong timing, in a lot of ways, IG will as well. You've got AC done on Lifestealer, countering out what the Alchemist is doing in a lot of ways. And, the Tinker, he's got Aghanim Scepter with the Aether Lens completed. They're not looking too shabby.
They're not looking too shabby for high ground defense, but everything else is questionable. I'm not even sure if they're going to be able to push out and defend Roshan. I think they probably will. I think they'll try, but I don't think the fight will go well. It's not based around...
He's using the creeps, though. That's really smart. And now they actually pull him back in. Immediately swapped out by No Tail. No more Flaming Lasso there.
And they still haven't used their BKB for Ana. So he can go high ground with real confidence here. This is definitely a tier 3 tower down. And maybe even a melee Rax.
They're going to keep up the pressure. S4 goes in, catches there onto the Batrider. There's a Silence, Crippling Fear onto the Lifestealer. He doesn't have an answer to this. They're going to be able to swap out Ana, keeping him alive for the moment. Still, that Spike Carapace controlling up Ana. He is going to back out, but again...
They took the tier 3 at top, and they're going to take the top lane of Rax if they don't actually get this fight at bottom lane and deal with top.
BKB popped. Ana just wants to hit the barracks. Didn't even end up going for it, and Yeah, they're taking it. The melee, or the birds doing work up here top.
Got a bunch of damage onto their ranged racks. That is not going to be repaired.
Well, OP can try and take it
somebody
down.
Get those familiars.
Maybe you suicide him to the fountain. Who knows?
He resummoned.
Smart play there as well by Fly. So across the board, great win for OG. They take down the tier 3 tower, both top and bottom, take two separate, well, they didn't take the barracks up in the top lane, but they were able to secure the melee barracks in the bottom.
Yeah, they're going to get those shrines now. This is the nightmare for IG. They're locked inside their base. They don't have the shrines to operate off of. They don't feel comfortable taking a fight outside their base. It seems like OG, they found a really strong Alchemist strategy. The value of the Aghanim Scepters across the board, I think, is actually, you don't really talk about, people like to talk about it because it's cool, but it doesn't usually have an impact in the game like it has this one.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just because of how much Ana was able to get early on, and he had such a great start to this game. And then after the fact now as well, we're in a moment where you're starting to feed over those moon shards. Already has one for himself. I imagine that you end up sending one over to the side of Vengeful Spirit as well, but they are grouped up, ready to start going for mid.
What's our Nyx assassin up to? Is he just like, he was really deep in there. I'm not sure if he was just hoping for a pickoff.
They weren't finding it, and now Burning. They do force staff on a forward, but able to force staff him back, just playing back and forth here. Nyx is also going to be able to get out a good amount of damage. The silence onto Burning. That ulti from the CM not really doing all that much, but they are going to be able to control Ana, bringing him inside. Can they pull him in? Another swap comes out from No Tail. The low cooldown, and now as Force jumped back in, they go for some more force staff. Like trying to get away, but they managed to get it. Gem on the ground, but more importantly, that is Batrider dead. 60 seconds, no buyback.
And 100 in Arcane Rune, so there's no downtime to Chemical Rage. He just keeps on coming back, and oh, there's another swap. Again. It just doesn't stop.
They're constantly keeping him surviving, and OP can throw out all this damage that he wants, but he got so much regen. The BKB's been popped. They do have the still controlling him, but OP again going to be controlled by S4. They push him back with the call, burning through the mana. He's silenced yet again. Jerax had picked up an Orchid in the meantime, and also here to the sides. You've got the birds taking down the barracks. They're doing a hell of a lot of damage, but No Tail
another one
will not be stopped.
They just have this constant sieging mechanic that OG they like IG don't have an answer for it. They keep on trying to make this go, but it's just not happening. They can't bring down any one hero, and then they just back off and regen again because Ana's really the only one who's taking damage. He just plays off of Chemical Rage. They're going to go again. They're going to attack top lane again.
Oh, swap again. Why not? Burning. See you later. He's gone. Has to buy back. This is a tier 3 down. OP is getting lasered himself. And it looks like OG going to be content with just that. They have split pushed him to hell and barreled down a lane at the same time.
Perfect. They've got some items to pick up, some big ones. They've got Moon Shard, another one completed for the Alchemist, and he'll probably still have buyback. I'm sure a lot of the other heroes have some items to grab as well. An Octarine Core for Clockwork, so not only will you have this constant swap action, you also have the constant hooks that are going to be coming in. What are some of the other heroes and their pickups here? He did go for the Hurricane Pike, 2,200 gold on this Vengeful Spirit as well. And Pipe, Solar Crest.
I mean, they've got
the Orchid for Jerax.
Yeah, he's picked that one up, and still cool. 3,000 on top of it. So he's going back for the Bloodthorn at this point.
He'll make himself like a nice, not secondary damage source, but just using the Bloodthorn and having the others deal the damage will have quite the hefty impact. Burning, he's got to get an answer to this. There's so many problems. So many problems for him. Looks like he is going to get MKB to be able to deal with Radiance Miss and also the potential laser bounce around. But the silence is going to be quite the problem for him.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing too, like for OP in this game, you've got great items here on Jerax to just get on top of him. And you have the Blink there, the Aether Lens as well. And he went for the Dagon. He doesn't have any way to take the silences off of him on the Tinker. You hate to build into a BKB on this heroes, but sometimes it's necessary.
I mean, honestly, I think OP, he knows that damage is a problem for them. He just has to build this offense build. I don't think he has a better option. Oh, they're going to spot some of this.
Breaking it out. They get the silence onto XSS. He pops his BKB, but not able to find it. And now here, Ana going to end up stunning himself. He's actually dropping it really low. They are going to be able to get that kill. Maybe going to be able to find more. No Tail's going to go down. Double kill for OP. Can they get anything else off the back of this? Frostbite.
I was about to say, Tinker's not sticking around to laser that, so looks like they will take it.
Yeah, and instead, this is the movement up for high ground.
Yeah,
they got the buybacks. Burning, they're there. They forced the glyph. They haven't bought back yet on the Alchemist. It looks like the call is for tier 4s. That is a really bold move here.
They need to force this buyback from Alchemist.
Okay, Bobica there as well. They get swapped back in. He tries to go in. He's down low. He's not inside and burrowed up, but they have been able to jump on the
If they can kill Bench here, this is huge.
This is a buyback on No Tail. They're rooting Jarex, trying to kill him off. He's forced after the low ground as well, trying to kill off OP as well. There's the silence. Is able to take it off. Can he start spamming out all of this damage? They're lacking damage so much right now, and Alchemist is about to come back up and be online.
They swap back a Lifestealer. He's out of position now. There's no way he can make it down from this, I don't think.
Bernie trying desperately to latch onto something. Actually invests inside of a creep. He's going to stay alive there. Now OP is on top of Ana. Can they kill him off? He's going to be taken down. Fly is there. They reflect back the Soul Assumption, but it doesn't matter. Buying back on OP. He wants to get into the fight. Bernie to survive through all of this has been able to stun Ana. Can they kill him off? Burning. They've got so much damage coming out from OP. Oh, but he's going to be controlled. S4 found him. It was enough. OG has done it, I do believe. Everybody dead for hundreds of seconds.
Yeah, it was a good attempt. IG, they had to go down mid. They knew they just couldn't play against the Siege game anymore, so they went down mid. They forced this fight. I love even the potential call for tier 4s and that sort of thing, because you had to force that Alchemist buyback and then see what happens. Like,